Welcome back. All right, man. Look, we have one last story for you. Scott Lawerence, man. Scott Lawerence continues to show what his thought process is in development of rugby and how he's trying to continue to motivate and build the systems together. I think the last time we talked about Coach Scott Lawerence, we were looking at his moonshot website and the analytics that they're looking for in their players and how to be able to select. Obviously, if you guys, as we just talked about, Major League Rugby draft, or North Carolina anthem. The Carolina anthem is the USA Rugby arm of MLR, basically trying to develop USA national eligible players in all ways, shape, or form. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're from or born in the US, but they are eligible to be able to play for the USA team. And so they're drafting that to be able to develop that. But he put this out on LinkedIn, and if you guys don't know, like, Scott Lawerence doesn't have social media normal, but he drops a lot on LinkedIn. So if you want to see his thought process, he's definitely given information over there, and I give him credit for that. I give him credit. I'm a critique. I will critique a lot, but I'm gonna give credit where credit is due, and the due-ness is there. So he dropped this over on the his LinkedIn, and basically he wanted to provide kind of an aspect of how SIP registration is and how that kind of all breaks down to the number of players that are playing in the US. If you guys remember from last week, we talked about how USA Youth and High School Rugby had announced their 50,000 registered players at that time, and how our guy Mick Feely, friend of the show, basically bemoaned that as a celebration and used the comparison to USA Soccer. And basically, like, our numbers are just way low, and I think they might be lower than they were pre-COVID still. And so Scott Lawerence had dropped this earlier this week, or late last week, earlier this week, and basically kind of confirmed what Mick was talking about, even though his intention was not to bemoan it, but it really stood out from this. And essentially, it's that the SIP registration for the US right now is sitting at a measly 81,715 people. And he broke it down per state, which was kind of wild to me. I'm going to bring this up on his actual LinkedIn page just in case, so you can actually maybe see it a little bit better. But it came off. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so let's big this up just a little bit. So basically, what we're seeing off of this is that our SIP registrations are basically handling where you most would consider it in the Washington area. In California at 13, California has the highest number of registrations at 13,701 SIP registrants for and SIP registrants for in general, in players for that are just in general like, not just collegiate, not draft eligible, nothing like SIP registered in general. So we're talking 13,701 divided by the 81,715. Yo, California makes up alone almost 20% of our population of registrants. And then from there, the biggest one goes Texas, which, Texas Rugby Union has consistently grown. California, Pennsylvania, Florida, and then Ohio, and then Washington State, which, I'm going to be honest with you, I knew Florida had a good population. I didn't know they had this many registrants. And I think that's one that is not being cultivated well enough. Obviously, they put MLR Miami out there, but I don't think it's being cultivated well enough to justify the utilization of what they're doing down there. Texas, we see people call all the time, California all the time, the West Coast all the time, New York all the time, but we barely talk about Florida. And Florida, from a club side, is so disconnected from the rest of rugby that you don't really pay attention until they do something significant, like the massive run that University of Central Florida had in the collegiate years back in like 2014 to 2020, something to that effect, 2019 maybe, and then from there, the next highest goes was Colorado, Utah, and then those are the highest. But then next ones down, you have North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland. Again, the DMV area, not surprised about. Great youth connection that's over there. Indiana and Illinois, Chicago really holding up for Illinois, Indiana, and then kind of the last of the four digits. You have and if you guys want, I'm gonna post. I'll share this on to the website gifttimerugby.com so you guys can get a link directly to it. And I'll put in the YouTube video as well, so you can link to the picture itself. But like, yeah, Arizona and then Oregon, Idaho. Though I always surprised Oregon was less, but maybe not too super surprised. And then what really got me was where the hundreds were, which is Louisiana, Alabama, South Carolina, Detroit, I think Jersey as well, if I'm seeing it correct. No, Jersey's four digits. The Wyoming's, I guess that's not too surprising. Iowa was up there. Wisconsin, I was surprised. I'm sorry, not Wisconsin. Minnesota, I'm surprised is lower, considering that they've had such a strong youth program for such a long time with Minnesota Youth Rugby. I would have thought they would have at least been above 1,000. Kansas is only 600. New Mexico, again, not surprised, is at 485. And then the Dakotas combined are less than 100. Which is, again, wow, your farm boys. Montana, where Nicole Haverland is 674. So like it's in a way you go into it and you kind of see like the difficulty of some of these hotbed spots. And then the places where you have the largest populations, very spread out, but it clearly is. There's a lot that needs to go, and even if it say that it's more than what other countries maybe could have, I don't even know if that's true anymore. But when we look at it compared to our population, which what we're talking about, 350 million people. It's a fraction. It's 0.00023% of the population, which gets to show in our how our national teams play, and gets to show how like our performance is treated. It's not great. So we need to do, like Scott Lawerence said, there's a lot to grow. They want to be able to grow, but this is why I go, like, it's a big deal where you have an Ilona Mar. It's a big deal if you have a professional, but you have to present the story. It's a big deal how your youth rugby system is going, because you have to develop down there, because they're the ones that grow up further into that. And man, it's rough to see. It's rough to see. I remember whenever 2009, we were supposed to be somewhere around 100,000. This is where we were considered as one of the fastest growing sports in the nation. And what was that? That was 2014. That was, and it has not gone well. And you can say COVID, but I'm pretty confident We saw construction even around 2019, maybe late 2018, whenever the bankruptcy happened. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this. I want to know, like, how do you feel with the population for the US and those who are in different countries? Like, how do you feel it compares to what you have in your place? Is, you know, especially for the major rugby countries, from a population standpoint to a registration standpoint, how does that factor in together? I want to know. I want to know.
We're taking dumplings to a new level. My name is Gift Bailu. I'm here with Health Enhanced Foods, and I want to introduce you to one of our most popular products, dumpling flour. What makes our dumpling flour so popular is that it is a mix of unrefined super flours that create the maximum level of nourishment for your personal dumplings. This is including mixes like buckwheat, sunflower, flaxseed, everything that helps to be able to make your appetite stronger, more fulfilled, and healthier. Including within that, we have no added sugars, so we want to make sure that it is rich in protein, rich in fiber, and rich in vitamins and minerals. Our dumpling flour is diabetic friendly, high in quality gluten-free mixes with no rice. And if you know, you know. There's always a little bit of rice to be able to stabilize it. Not here in our dumpling flour. It is naturally nourishing, and of course, it's a great substitute for wheat-based dumplings. With this gluten-free dumpling, you can now make your croissants, you can make your rice dumplings, you can make your dessert dumplings. You can absolutely find this at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, get yourself a bag, get yourself a pallet, and make sure that you can fulfill for your people and yourself the way that you really deserve it. Don't wait, let's go.